Welcome back, folks. This is the podcast known as Behind the Badge here at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office in Rochester, New York. I'm Todd Baxter, the Sheriff of Monroe County, joined today by two great friends from RAWNY, Reentry of Western New York, an organization I fell in love with a few years ago. I'm a grassroots, down-to-earth person. I don't like to spend time and waste money, and I stumbled upon RAWNY because I knew our vulnerability in jailing, if you will, is getting people back in the community the right way, right? And setting up those paths for them to be successful when they leave incarceration. And I found RAWNY and man, fell in love with you guys, and I truly believe in the mission. So today we just want to share who you are, what you do. We got the executive director. What do we call you? What's the title?
Executive director.
Executive director.
A
lot of people have different titles at these
know.
nonprofits, but Yari, just tell a little bit about yourself. And
So I am the executive director for RAWNY. We've been around. We opened doors to our participants in 2023, and our goal is really to create a path for individuals to have the ability to be successful when they're returning to the community.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that. It's not easy. It is not easy.
At all.
And again, I'm a real guy. You do your crime, got to do your time. I've been a cop for almost 40 years, right? But also human beings are being incarcerated. Human beings that want to come back to our society, right, and be productive and be fruitful. And reentry is huge. It's really where we dropped the ball for decades. And Jermaine, you got a real story because you were gone 20 years. 20 years and had to make that reentry back in. Now you're working hand in glove with this great organization. Just a real quick introduction about yourself, real quick.
How you doing? My name is Jermaine Jennings. I did 20 years incarcerated in the feds. And trust me, it wasn't easy coming home after 20 years. No technology, not understanding any of that. And I needed RAWNY. Yeah. Reentry is big. So, all my life I was in the streets, hustling, selling drugs, and doing crime, mainly because I didn't have the correct knowledge and understanding of doing the right thing. So when I came home, I was kind of lost. I went to my probation, and my probation officer wasn't there. And they said, "Go to RAWNY." I said, "What's RAWNY?"
Good. Andrew pointing.
And they said, "It's a place around there on Water Street." I didn't even know what Water Street was. I went over there and found it, and I ran into a perfect place, like a family. They helped me with Medicaid. They helped me get housing, and they helped me with anything, social service. They helped me adapt right to society because for real, I was like Stone Age coming out here.
Right. Think about that. We were talking off air. I came back from Korea back in the 80s, just serving a year overseas, and the world had changed so much in a year. My friends had changed. The people, the restaurants, all changed. Now it changes warp speed, right? It's undescribable how fast things. And then expect the person to leave incarceration with $75 in a bus ticket and be successful is like, it's not even true. It's not even close.
Right.
But, so that's where RAWNY comes in, right? So reentry. I said I took over a jail when I got hired as sheriff, right? I've been a law enforcement officer, never really, and I watched all the programming and all the stuff we're doing and started with, but then we'd just let them out the door and it'd be good luck,
Figure it
so
out.
reentry, figure it out. And that's what you guys are here to do. Jermaine was talking about creating that plan, right? But sometimes people are leaving incarceration and don't even have a plan. That's where you guys come in. Individualized based too. That's what I love about it.
Absolutely. Some people are ready to hit the ground running. Other people need a little bit more time. Jermaine was one of the individuals. He spent significant time incarcerated and needed to start from scratch. Mm-hmm. But I must give him credit because Jermaine stands out because of his mindset. So you can have all the resources in the world, but if you don't have the right mindset, you ultimately have that control. So between having the available resources and the right mindset, Jermaine has been home for almost a year and has been able to accomplish more in that short amount of time than me sometimes. I'm just to be honest.
Coming up on a year, right?
Coming up on a year.
God bless you, brother. That's mind-boggling that you can be successful getting out of that environment and coming back here, but without reentry. Without reentry services, so talk about a plan. You had mentioned you had a plan, or you helped develop a plan. Now your goal is daily to stick with the plan. I'm sure, right? As the world tries to,
Well, I came home with this was my fail-safe plan.
Right.
And mind you, I read over 200 books while I was incarcerated.
Wow.
So my fail-safe plan was I said I'll work at a temp agency and I'll live in a homeless shelter before I resort back to crime.
God bless.
And I ended up having to do that. I worked for a CEO, Center for Employment Opportunities.
Right.
I worked for them.
Yep.
And I lived in the Grace House, and now I work at the Grace House. And that's why I say the plan was to never go back to jail, so that the least amount of thing I would do was work at a temp agency and stay in a homeless shelter before resorting to crime.
Resort back to that.
And like I said, when I went to RAWNY, what they did was step by step asked me what I needed to do and said, well, if that's what you want, we'll help you with this, help you with that. I got my asbestos license, I got my OSHA 30 license, I got my driver's license, I got a forklift license. I'm a peer advocate, and I'm also paid internship with the peer services. So, and all thanks to Ronnie.
And you're amazing. You're literally amazing, and none of that is easy in society. None of everything you just mentioned. Getting an OSHA license. People don't even know what OSHA means.
Right.
You got a license in it, right? Those are huge. But Johnny, let's just talk about So you're going to get a driver's license, right? How much work? The people you're dealing with formerly incarcerated, how much work is it usually to just get someone a New York State driver's license? Think about the fines and the paperwork and
absolutely. So you have so much to overcome, especially I think we take those things for granted.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely. So you need to be able to prove who you are. So you need to start out with making sure you have a birth certificate, and then you need a certain amount of points when you go to the DMV.
Right.
And then once you have that, then you get your ID and you can move forward. But then you have to think about child support. If you owe child support,
Right.
you're not getting a driver's license.
Barrier after barrier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then you have to do a bunch of paperwork, submit for that,
Which
and
can
try
be
to
confusing and difficult and
absolutely,
redundant.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, even for professionals
Yeah.
that do it every day,
Yeah.
can be difficult and frustrating.
Sure.
So yeah, it's a lot of work, and people need support. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do.
Yeah, and we're not talking about a handout, right? Let's be very clear. We're not talking about giving, right? We're talking about helping you earn, right? Helping the sweat equity is what it's all about, right? And if you got the will, we'll provide the hand up, right? But
I like
those
that,
are
the
those
hand
are
up.
difficult just to navigate that as a person with no barriers, right?
Absolutely.
To navigate DMV we see stories on the news about it right
Absolutely.
now. So again, you're not giving away anything.
Nothing.
You're just giving the opportunities, right? And Jermaine still got to have, as you said, the will.
Right.
But God, it could be intimidating if you've been gone for 20 years and all of a sudden you got to figure out one DMV form. It could be like, I'm done. I'm literally done right there.
And it does happen, unfortunately.
Sure it does.
People,
It's real world.
or you go there, you're waiting for 3 hours, but you have to be at another appointment and do this, that, and the other.
Who's got the time?
Right.
Yep. So again, I just want to, this is a real quick hit podcast. I told you that. I want to emphasize, you're incredible. You're an incredible human being that just overcame barriers that no one would understand. Again, we talked off air. I'm a cop. Do your crime, got to do your time.
That's right.
I'm not forgiving any of that, but you are a human being that's coming back to our society. And look what you're doing. That's amazing. You bring tears to my eyes. I got your back. Anything we can do to help you out. And Ronnie, we need to support you. I'm not shy about that. This is a nonprofit, real world people. This is grassroots. I've seen these folks go out and get steel toe shoes for people that were getting a job and needed those. That's a barrier.
Absolutely.
Right? But you're going to pay for them, right? But let's go get you a pair of shoes so you can get the job to pay for them.
Absolutely.
Those are huge. That's real world grassroots. But so how do we support you?
Please go to our website. You can donate through our website, but most importantly, we do have our incredible event. We have a reentry conference on the 23rd coming up, and then reentry week starting April 30th, right at the RAWNY headquarters. We're still looking for sponsors. We're looking for donations. We are mainly funded through the ARPA funds. Those are due to end.
Yeah, yep.
So yes, we need all the support we can get. At the end of the day, we don't determine who comes home.
Right.
People are coming home,
Yep.
so we either leave them unsupported or
Right.
provide the support that's needed out there. And these services are crucial to our community. And if people have the proper guidance, they can become, contributing members of society. And perfect example is Mr. Jennings, who is
Absolutely.
giving back 110%.
Right. And going to mentor a lot more folks coming back. I mean, you're the real world story that,
Yes.
I can't give. Listen, if you want to support Ronnie, the websites are right there. Do that. I can just say as a sheriff of Monroe County, if we don't support these guys and gals coming back, whether they're leaving local or they're leaving state, it's $260 to put them back in the jail a night. I mean, just from a taxpayer standpoint, it makes sense to support as much as possible. From a humanistic standpoint, from a fatherhood standpoint, everybody coming back as a son or daughter of someone that really wanted their loved one back in our community and be productive. It's a win-win-win for everybody to do this and do it the right way. So support
sure.
Ronnie if you can, please, and support folks like you that are coming back just against all odds and doing the right thing. God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you. Thank you.
We
sir.
appreciate you.
Likewise. Till next week, people, be safe. God bless.